have it. We're talking about the fact that the battle for truthfulness is taught in every little yes and no that we get to do, whether to ourselves, to God, or to other people, right? One of the greatest reason or source or reason for lack of self-esteem is when we don't live faithfully to our commitment to make to ourselves. Right? You say you're going to do something and you don't do it. It heats up on your self-esteem. Right? It heats up in your self-esteem when you can't trust your own words by yourself. Easy way to become less of who you are. So first of all, you got to be true to yourself. You cannot be true to others if you're not true to yourself. You cannot live up to the commitments that you make to yourself. You cannot be committed to other people. You cannot be committed to God. Almost like God won't trust you if you can't trust your own self. And why should other people trust you if you can't trust yourself? So you need to be careful about the things you tell yourself you would do. And when you do tell yourself, I'm going to try your best to live up to it, because that affects your self-esteem, right? So the yes and no's, first of all, we need to make sure that we're not just saying it anyhow to ourselves. Then really to God, probably to God first of all, to ourselves, and then to others. Truthfulness is what we need in order to be human. Right. Truthfulness is what we need in order to not be living by our own emotions. Our life is not driven by what I feel. That's why for me, and that's the importance of planning, right? The reason why we do budgeting is for the reason why we need to live above our feelings. When I do a budget, then I'm not controlled by the spirit of money, and I become the one in control, not the money controlling me. But when I have a plan of things to do, I couldn't be bothered at how I feel. I go about doing it. That's why for me, in the place of exercise, I have days already ordained to do exercise. It doesn't matter whether I feel like or I don't feel like, except if I'm sick. If I don't go do exercise because I feel like doing exercise. I do exercise because I've already pre-planned it to do it, right? It has nothing to do with feelings. I do it because I've already made a judgment that it is the right thing to do. So I follow up with the commitment I made to myself, right? Because I've already looked into the future at the results I want. And because of that result, I already made a plan to what to do today so as to get to that future. So it has nothing to do with whether I feel like or I don't. See, my truthfulness, right, helps me to not just be live by instinct, but to live by judgment, right? Animals live by instinct. Humans live by judgment. They make a decision, right? If you're not truthful to yourself, to your promises, then you're just going to be living by every instinct, right? That's what happens when people are ruled by lowly elements of life, right? Truthfulness helps us to rise above the lowly elements of life, to live up to an ideal that we have already committed or bound our hearts to, right? So, and that's what Hannah Arendt says there. Says promises are the uniquely human way of ordering the future, right? Or you can replace the word promises there with truthfulness, right? If I'm truthful to myself and I've already looked at the future, I can decide how I need to get to that future. My ability to live up to my plan, is the way whereby I cause that future to come to pass. So it says making it predictable and reliable to the extent that is humanly possible. right? I can only create my future if I'm able to make a commitment to the plan or to the things that will cause that future to come to pass, right? So it goes on. So being truthful is the only way we can be free from the unpredictable future, right? We're not victims of our instinct, when we are able to manage our yes and our no, right? And we're able to say yes to the right things and stand up to it, live up to the yes that we have already made, the commitment we have already made to ourselves, right? All right. My slides are looking for themselves, so apologies. All right. No, they're not looking for themselves. I just picked on the wrong thing. All right, let's go on to the next slide here. It says, if you put fulfillment before truth, you'll lose both, right? If all you're looking at is how I feel at each point in time, and you have not found the truth that should rule your life, I mean, you're going to lose both. You're going to lose yourself, but if you put truth before fulfillment, or how you feel, then you're able to get both the truth in your life and the fulfillment, right? Because don't forget, truths don't change. Truths are parallel. A life that is sustainable, a life that can be defined, a life that can be dependent on is one that is built on the foundation of truth, right? Not one that's built on things that are shaky, things that are flimsy, right? And that's how we design and live and predict the future for our lives. Every yes and every no is observed. Every yes that I make, I have a witness in my heart, in my person, that I made it. So that's why if I'm not truthful to my commitments, it heats up on my self-esteem. I'm telling myself I'm less of a human being. I'm more of an animal. I'm an instinctive person, right? Instincts are good, right? Because it's an animal part of us. But those instincts must be subjected to our humanity, right? Our humanity, our higher nature must rule over our instincts, right? We use our instincts. We don't allow our instincts to use us, right? We must never be in a place where we think that we're not observed. That's why for us as Christians, we talk about practicing the presence of God. Everything that I do, everywhere that I am, I assume I have that impression upon myself that God is there and is watching what I do or not do, right? And I know that whatever I do or not do matters to him. He's judge of it, right? And that's what for us as Christians, Hebrews 11:6 tells us that without faith, it is impossible to please God. For he that comes to God must believe that God is, and that God is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, right? So what's up? All my yes and my no are rewarded. If I live up to my yes and my no, God rewards that. If I don't live up to it, God rewards it. Or another way what's used there is the word God will judge it. God will judge it, right? God will judge my truthfulness. God will judge my faithfulness, right? So if I'm faithful, I get a positive judgment. If I'm not, I get a negative judgment, because God looks at every one of them. Maybe that's why Jesus Christ says again, that not one word will pass away. We're going to be judged for every idle word, every idle promise, right? It's our being originates from our heart, right? It's not just what people say, it's what we have on the inside, So, yeah, so we need to be careful about that. We should say what we mean and mean what we say. Let our yes have power, right? And all of this helps us to communicate like we started, So I would say efficient, effective communication is a learnable skill that starts with transparency and candor, right? That's what Bethenny says in our book. It says efficient, effective communication. It's a skill that can be learned, and it starts with being transparent and having candor, right? Being truthful, right? There's a need for truthfulness, that makes a lot of difference, right? And so we're going to be efficient and effective in communication. We need to be authentic. We need to be truthful, right? And that helps us. That helps us because that is contagious. Our ability to be truthful or not is contagious, and it helps the communication. When people see a truthful, open spirit, there's a place in everyone that yearns for it, because that is our original nature. And we are created to yearn for it. We might not like it, but there's an attraction, there's a force, there's an energy from being authentic, from being real, that catches the attention of every human being, and they want to gravitate towards it, right? So Bethenny goes on and says, if you are concerned about something that's happening at work, home, think through it. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry to make commitments. Think through it. Address it directly and politely. Don't bluff. Don't make threats, and do not, under any circumstance, give ultimatums, right? Just address it. You don't have to put up some tantrums, right? Address the issue as a human being, and Jim Rohn talked about the reason why trusted people don't have to use too many words to communicate, because people already know who they are, right? And that's one of the things Jesus Christ was talking about when he says, don't swear by this, don't swear by that. Just let your yes be yes and your no be no. When you're a trustworthy person, when you are a transparent person, when you're an authentic person, people know what you're saying. Your communication is clear. Just when you don't have to talk too much for people to get what you're trying to say, because they already know who you are, and they are judging your words based on the who that they know, right? People are not necessarily staying by just your word. They're judging your words by the who that they know, right? So if you're someone that's not trustworthy, they're probably going to be judging your words by the who that they know. And that might not provide clarity for them. So that's why you need to speak more words for them to be able to know that maybe you truly mean something else, because everybody judges us, right? And that's another thing about communication, right? Another thing about perception, right? People are not necessarily listening to what you're saying. They're listening to what they're seeing. And what we see is more powerful than what we hear. So much so that what we see can physically alter what we're hearing. Someone is saying something and you're hearing physically something else, because what you see is more powerful than what you hear. What you see can alter what you hear, which might be different from what is being spoken, right? So that's the power of a character behind the person that is speaking, right? So especially when you're a communicator, you want your life to match with what you're communicating. Otherwise, people aren't hearing what you're trying to say. They're hearing something entirely different from what you're saying. And it's not just a judgment. It's a physical translation whereby they are truly hearing something different from what you're saying. Right? It's a research part, and it's true. Right? So, don't be in a rush, take time to have a reputation for being someone of your words. Threats are a communication strategy for losers, not winners, right? Don't be such a person that and that's something about, just simply letting your yes be your yes and your no be your no. You don't have to speak too many other words to affirm what you're after. If you're known for something, or you have to say one or two words, people already know the person behind the words, and that carries all the weight that is needed to pass the communication across, right? Bethenny goes on and says the reputation for honesty and for forthrightness is a power position in any kind of negotiation, right? Any kind of negotiation, people can trust you for what you're saying. They're not second guessing your words because your personality backs up your words, right? So whether it's a dinner with a friend, negotiating a contract, or doing a real estate business, the person behind the words carries all the weight, So question is, what are you known for, right? That will determine how much more words you need to put in to get the right communication in, right? So follow through on your words, right? Follow through on your words. Be a person of your words. Follow through on your words, right? The second part here in chapter 4 says, follow through on your words. If you say something, do everything you can to follow through on your words. In the Psalms, the Bible talks about someone, the people that will be able to enter into the secret place of God, have fellowship with God, are people who swear to their own heart and keep it. People will put weight to their words of their mouths. Right. So it's saying, whatever, follow through with your words. Follow through with your words. Don't disappoint people. Follow through with your words. Don't say things you cannot do. And if you say it, do it. Right. So don't pull all your cards if you're not willing to follow through. So if you're not willing to follow through, don't commit yourself. Don't commit yourself to something you're not willing to follow through on. Right. Before you say something definitive, take a good look at the big picture and consider any and all consequence on your move, right? Do your pros and cons, benefits and demerits, before you make a decision. But if you make that decision, follow through with it, right? For as long as it's a righteous cause. It's not something that is it's not criminal per se, but keep your word. If there's a chance you'll regret walking, pull back and do a deep think. If you're not sure what you're trying to commit yourself to, don't rush into it. Give time. Give time. There's nothing wrong with saying, give me time to think about it. Don't let anybody rush you into any decision, right? Any decision you're rushed into is because someone wants to take advantage of you. And that's what you see in a lot of this. I've been involved in a lot of this timeshare thing, and those are people are devils in human skin. They're trying to get you to make a decision there and then. They wear you out. So it's more like they are forcing a decision out of you because, when you're tired, you're not able to make the right decision. Never be afraid to say you need time. Don't get rushed into a decision, right? That's what makes the poor poorer and the rich richer. Don't ever be forced into a decision. Take time out. Tell them you need time, but think deeply about it. Because when you commit, stay with your commitment. All right. So, bluffing in any relationship, whether it be in school board, boss, wherever you find yourself, doesn't give you any leverage. Making noise, making threats, just like a small boy, throwing tantrums, right? That's all it is. So don't get yourself being like that, because it's not a place of maturity. It's not a place of getting the best out of a deal, right? And it just tells people that you don't have integrity, right? So, but as Bethenny would say, when I make any decision, my intention is clear to all involved, right? If you're gonna do something, state it and stand by it, follow through on your words. So that's a key thing. That's what I'm going to end today. Sorry for all the logging in and logging out. Probably tells me I cut off the small part also. That I'll do a debrief here and find out if maybe I should have taken more from the chapter 4. Where would that been if we didn't have all the offsets? So. Maybe we should have taken one more subtitle there. We'll find out. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for this time. Thanks for the struggles, Drew. Thanks for as many as stayed with now, or we'll catch up later. but thanks for the privilege that I can speak with you on Sundays. God bless you. Enjoy the new week. Bye-bye.